All around the world, you see this recurring theme in different cultures, and we described it in different ways, but exactly the same theme. We have a force of expression of this Watiko, what take a reptilian form. And the cultures around the world, again and again and again, when they're doing their creation myths, then some kind of reptilian, lizard-like, snake-like entities are described. So, if you take the biblical version, you have Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And Adam and Eve are symbolic of, first of all, what the humans were like before what became known as the fall. Fall of consciousness. What's the hell is the fall? Fall of consciousness. There was once something that, not a human, it was like a state of consciousness that was experiencing a world, a frequency band that was like the one we're experiencing, but on a much higher level of awareness, consciousness, frequency. So things weren't happening in dense matter and low, slow frequency. It was happening in high frequency, and this is a much level of ethereal, and that, I think, what described as paradise that we were before. So Adam and Eve were cast out to paradise. What does that mean? I would suggest they left that frequency level where what we call it a human's work, and what we're experiencing, a world of love, joy, happiness, and all the things that happen together in the high frequency states as much as it's possible. And they fell, the fall, down the frequencies into dense matter. And the villain in the Garden of Eden that is said to have been part of this, central to this, is the snake. People have to think symbolically. What's a snake? Snake cannot talk. It's like symbolic of the reptilian group, this reptilian gods that they were perceived, and they fell down the frequencies, Adam and Eve, symbolically. And what's now humanity, because they gain a knowledge of good and evil. And what is that? Is polarity that we see in our reality now. That level that we felt from was oneness, it was unity, and we fell into the knowledge of good and evil, the knowledge of polarity, which is what the word is now. And if you were asking, it has been a lot of years from now, what Genesis is describing is the takeover of human perception by this reptilian force. And the God at the start of the Genesis that is creating the world is actually an amalgamation to deceive and misdirect of the gods, the reptilian gods. And what's being described, it's not the creation of the world, but it's the creation of the simulation, the matrix. And so when we hear lines like, and God said, let there be light, and there was light, that what being described is an electromagnetic light, which basically is in what the simulation is. And I said this in the turn of the millennium. This is a simulation, and the walls of this certainly of a level of it, and its speed of light is it's not the fastest speed. It's a joke, possibly. It's not the fastest speed. It's a joke. It's the fastest speed to the simulation. So there's some academics said that we live in a simulation, and the walls of the simulations and the speed of light of it, and relating the speed of light of the simulation turns to the process of the speed, because what is physics, what is law is physics, what we call it is whatever the creator of the simulation decided to be. In effect of the law of physics, what is computer games, whoever created the game, who decides how it be. You can't create the laws within the game, you're still limited in the process. And that's what the speed of light. That's why people have near-death experience. They leave the body, which is looking into the simulation through the five senses. And they experience a totally different version of physics. for past, present, and future. All that happens at once. And within the simulation, we have time, we have all other illusions of the creation of the simulation. So we have this treasure trove of documents that were found in Nag Hammadi in 1945, about 75 miles north Luxor, Egypt, which an Ethiopian jar writing of a Gnostic belief. Gnostic people reckoned in 400 AD. About a fifth of these writings were about what they called icons Greek of rulers, and where they were manipulating a human society. And what they say in these writings is that this world is a fake world. It is a fake reality created by the archonic force and to enslave humanity into an illusion. And we went through them. I went through them. You describe the virtual reality of the universe in their own language. And what we call in the virtual reality, one of the great things today because of the technological advancement, so-called, we now have the analogies of what we experience of virtual reality at interactions and describe what is this reality is. In the Gnostic belief, you will find the serpent as the hero because he gave Adam and Eve knowledge. You find a totally different, a totally inverted story of what the Bible tells us. Totally inverted. No matter if it is this or that, it is a sign that we live in an inverted world. Everything is inverted. Devil lived, read it backwards. Evil live, read it backwards. It's an inverted world. It's an inverted system. Lawyers destroy justice. Doctors destroy your health. Schools and universities destroy your knowledge. Religions destroy your spirituality. That's the inverted world that the archons symbolize as the devil. They can't create, but give them anything on a piece of paper or anything, they can manipulate it. So that's the inverted world that we live in. Everything is inverted. Everything is against you. Nothing works for your sake. Somebody may say, why would they invert our world? Why? To disconnect you. Disconnect you from what? From infinite consciousness, infinite awareness. That's who you are. To disconnect you. To disconnect spirituality from what? Technology. Because without any kind of technology, spirituality is an artificial, is an AI by itself. That's why they inverted us. That's why they designed religions to invert us, to split us from our true identity.